and he just went bang in my neck like that. And the first one, it's like my arm just dropped like that to the side. And I was trying to fight him and he just kept stabbing me. And he stabbed me in my neck again and he stabbed me in my chest here. And then when that happened, like a big flash of white come and it just went shing. My name is Faron Paul. I'm 38 years of age and I run a weapons organisation called Amnesty. So I grew up in Tottenham, North London. I lived there my whole life. My parents tried their best. We weren't like a high class family or anything, but my family is big. I had like 4 younger sisters, 4 older brothers, and we was all like tightly kept together, do you know what I mean? Every single sport that used to come up, I used to just always participate in it, and we started to do training and we started to like compete against other schools and stuff. And it's when I started to win, and that's where like my athletics career started. I was running for Middlesex at the time, and Faron was running for London. And at the same time, I remember in that competition, he won gold. I believe it's for his 1500 meters, and I won gold for javelin at that time. We planned that in 2016, that I would be in, you know, the Olympics in Stratford when it first come. Yeah, like that was the aim. So it weren't only not participating in athletics. There's other things that I was getting involved in life that started to basically become an obstacle for me interacting with my athletics. I got involved with something and I got probation for it. And at the same time, being young and naive, I didn't believe that I had to go probation. Like I still had that kind of sense of like, who cares about probation? And that led to me doing a custodial sentence at a young age. When I went to jail, it took a lot out of me, you know. I started to feel like I'm bad now, you know, and like I started to get drawn to other things, and I went to jail and then I started missing athletics training and stuff like that. And then it's like, it becomes like a turning circle. Like I went from having a group of friends that were all athletes to speaking to other people that had no care about athletics, you know? And the lifestyles that we've been lived, like late nights, parties, all the rest of it, that's not conducive to someone that's trying to get ready to be an athlete. A lot of people may ask what it feels like to be stabbed. And I can tell you, it feels like getting punched. And because your adrenaline's rushing and everything, you don't feel it. But it just feels literally like you're getting punched. And it's only after that you start to feel the aching and the bleeding, you know, and you start to see the blood. Well, I've been stabbed on 2 separate occasions. The first time I got stabbed 9 times. My hair was hanging onto my shoulder. I got stabbed through my shoulder hair. There was a mark there that nearly went into my heart, but it never went into there. I got cut through my belly hair as well. I got stabbed in my belly, but because there was like some creamy, orangey flesh coming out, I believe it's fat, the doctors needed to cut into me again to make sure that there's no further internal damage. So that's why I've got 2 scars on my belly. And got cut through my hand here as well. And then I got stabbed another time, and that in 2006, and that's 9 times as well. I want people to understand, especially the young people, these life-changing situations where you can get hurt, they can come from anywhere. They can come from little road rage incidents. They can come from just you looking at someone for too long, and that escalated into what you're looking at, into physical confrontation, into someone pulling out a knife. And that's what I didn't realize, you know? And it was just a normal day to me. I went out to West End to do shopping, and the person that I was with, I heard him screaming. And I got to the bottom of it, that they was fighting someone. We started fighting, it was hand to hand. And then basically, it ended up with him falling down the stairs, but that was where the kitchen was. I didn't realize. So after the fight, I'm just thinking, this is the end of it. And I've gone to the car, but something just said, look behind you. And when I looked behind me, I just saw the same guy with the longest kitchen knife like that, the all silver one, the really big one. And I thought, oh man. So I started to do a couple laps around the car. So it's like cat and mouse. Every time I got to like the driver's side, he was on the passenger side. And then as he ran around to the front, I ran around to the back. And it kept going around in a circle. And then what he'd done, when I got back to the driver's side, he was at the passenger side, and then he opened the passenger door. And then he basically started to go in towards the car where the person was. And when that happened, it's like I challenged him again. And then it's like I took his attention from him and I challenged him again. So we started fighting again now. And then after that, I just thought, I just can't do this no more. Like I was so tired because I initially ran up the road about half a mile. Then I got into the fight. And then after I was just like, I can't do this no more. And he just went banging my neck like that. And the first one, it's like my arm just dropped like that to the side. And I was like, shh. And then when that happened, like a big flash of white come and it just went shing. And it's like I just heard an indefinite ringing sound in my ears. Like it's just going shing. And after that, when that first stab happened, I just remember like I was trying to fight him. And it's like I couldn't fight him. And then I grabbed him here, that hand, and I was like to my arm, move, move. But my other arm wouldn't move. And I was trying to fight him and he just kept stabbing me. He stabbed me in my neck again and he stabbed me in my chest here. So I started trying to crawl away. So I turned and I started to crawl away. And then he stabbed me in my back again. And then like the top of my spine there. And then after that, I just heard the police coming. The police started coming. The frame of mind that I was in, the life I was living, when I heard police, I just wanted to go kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? And even though I had multiple stab wounds, I was bleeding. My main thing is just that like I just want to get out of here. And then the police, I remember a police lady, she stopped me and she's like, I've got reports that there's been a fight, like some sort of altercation. And I was like, nah, don't need to talk about it like that. She's talking to me. And she's like, she's on the radio like this, she's like, yeah, they're talking to her. And she's like, cold red, multiple stabbings like that. I had a cream cardigan on and it was just transitioning into red like that. All down here. It was just, like blood was just coming from everywhere. London Ambulance Service, I've always respected them, but being in that situation, I really do believe that they were the difference between life and death for me. You know, by the time I got to the hospital, I'd already lost 40% of my blood. And the way the ambulance driver was driving, that he drove so fast that the guy in the back told him like, hey, slow down, do you know what I mean? I just remember they're saying like, we have to put him in emergency surgery. I just kept I kept saying to the doctor like, I'm cold. And it's like, you're going into shock. I just kept saying, I can't move my arm. And even at that point there, not being able to move my arm, I was already thinking about, I will never be able to do athletics again. Do you know what I mean? And it just, from there, it was just like, it was an emotional and mental spiral, man. Yeah, so I'm sitting down in the room and I've got my arm in this thing like this and I've got a neck brace on. Metal staples all the way down there, right the way down my clavicle. And the doctor comes in and he says, do you want the good news or the bad news? What's the good news? We could do invasive surgery and you've got a spare nerve that we may be able to reconstruct into your neck. And with good luck, physiotherapy and all the blessings, you may be able to get back to a point where you can have reasonable function in your arm. They said that, you know, the 1% that's got that body structure, like they're the athletes and stuff like that. And I genuinely did used to think like, I'll be running around the track and these that are dying 200 meters down and I've got another 2 laps to do and it's normal to me, do you know what I mean? So my immediate injuries of that time was, the most worst injury was a brachial plexus injury. A brachial plexus injury basically is where you've got nerves down each side of your body. There's 5 nerves on each side of your body. Out of the 5 nerves on my left hand side of my body in my neck, 4 of them got cut straight through and the 5th one got severed. The doctors then had to cut into my neck and basically go and retrieve the nerve that had rolled down into my chest and into the top of my head since they'd been cut. And they went underneath my arm and they said I had a spare nerve and they took that out and they basically cut that into 4 places and basically resutured my nerves back together. Without the operation, it would have been a whole different story. When my mum came to the hospital and she screamed, yeah, that's a scream I never heard my mum do before, man. And that's when I knew what pain was. When my daughter first saw me when I got stabbed, she screamed and ran away. And that's when she saw me in the hospital bed, you know, and by seeing the way other people react to you, it makes you have an emotional reaction as well. And I felt like I just put my family in such emotional pain. By me getting hurt, I could just see how much I hurt my family, do you know what I mean? And it weren't like they were scared, it was just, it was more a sense of pain for them, you know? It's like, they was in pain to see me in pain, and that hurt me, because I've always seen myself as the person that protects them, do you know what I mean? And it's just like, when you're the person who your daughter looks up to, but I tell you now, yeah, it's like, every child sees their dad as a superhero at a certain age. And when daddy gets hurt, you know, it's hard for them to understand why and how. Do you know what I mean? And it's something that it took a lot of time for me to basically interact with my children and let them understand. And we're talking about from the ages they were and the age I was, you know, and the healing process, you know, because it's hard to try and help someone get over something when you're not over yourself. It just takes 1 second to change your life forever. One action, 1 second, you know? Like, think of how long it took for that knife to go into my neck. 1 second. But it still left me with injuries that I'm aware of for the rest of my life. When you experience a situation that brings you close to death, or you actually sit down and you actually take into account that that person really had the intention to hurt me, then it is something that mentally, emotionally, you've got to deal with, you know? Like, it took a lot for me to transition from wanting revenge and being angry to saying, you know what, I want to fight against this. Faz Amnesty is my organisation that I founded. It's my fight against knife crime. So it's like I started to do online awareness videos, and I just basically share my experiences about me getting stabbed and schooling, and just letting them understand that, you know, like, going to school is okay. And I was just trying to give them a little bits of awareness, not to get themselves into. And then after that, I started to work in alternative provisions. And I just used to feel like this ain't enough, you know. I want to do something physical. And I feel like even though I was interacting in schools and I was putting out awareness videos, every other day I just see that someone's been stabbed, someone's been arrested. I just thought to myself, I just want something more physical in terms of an intervention with these young people. And the reason I know that people got knives in their house, because everyone had knives in their house. Everyone's older brothers had butterfly knives. Everyone went on holiday and had little lock knives in the house. And they stayed there for years and nobody cares about them. And my thing is this, if them little young people are walking past them knives, how can I make them want to give it to me? That's when I started using JD Sports vouchers. And I just used it as a bit of an incentive to let young people come forward. And it just grew and grew and grew. And I just became inundated. And it just weren't the young people that wanted my help. It became their mothers, their parents, schools, establishments, care homes. We've took thousands of weapons off the street via hundreds of people. And not one person's ever been arrested, not once. I feel like the new weapons ban is something that's needed. It's crucial to preventing the buying and selling of these weapons. And the type of weapons that's been bought, we're talking about 15-inch knives with serrated edges with holes in them. Now, the damage they're causing is causing such traumatic injuries that the doctors are finding it hard to attend to the wounds. And this is another reason why younger people are suffering more graphic injuries and losing their lives, you know. I feel like the government are speaking to the right people. I feel like they're calling the right organisations who's on the ground that's actually doing the work, from grassroots all the way up into government officials and celebrities, because now we get to talk together, and all of our networks, all of our organisations, we get to speak to the people in real time that's got the problems, and then we can then take their message and amplify it right into the people that can actually help it. A lot of people, they consider what it feels like to go to prison, and a lot of people think it's cool until they get there. But I want young people to consider what it feels like to be in prison in your own body. And I'm talking about getting injured so bad that you're looking at a part of your body, telling it to move, and there's no response. I don't think they understand what severe muscle wastage is. We're talking about seeing muscle like wasting away in 6 weeks without movement, you know? And these are all things that will have to be in your fight of rehabilitation to get back to living a normal life, do you know what I mean? And it's not easy. Like, it takes a lot of grit, it takes a lot of determination, it takes a lot of heart and support to get back to certain stages, you know? So I feel like it's extremely important that these weapons are taken from the street.